Well, good afternoon, evening, morning. When you're like me and you converse with people around the clock, you realize that time is a very local thing. It means something totally different. Now is totally different time for people on the other side of the world than it is for me. I mean, right now it's 4:55 in the afternoon. I've been waiting for about an hour and a half. Well, let me just do the title, which is an apology almost, but also I'm whetting your appetite. Conversation with Jagamara postponed. It was all set up. He had a long day yesterday and wanted to get some rest after this morning's class, which is evening for him in Melbourne, Australia. It was an amazing class, and he is an amazing man. Anyway, I've been waiting for an hour and a half past the appointed time, and I need to get a video out myself. Hopefully, we can have our conversation interview after the next meeting. What he will share will astound many, especially considering he was illiterate 5 years ago, teaching himself to read and write with a reading program online. He memorized the words and digested the concepts such that I would consider him an expert with issues of sovereignty. Our chat will happen. I just need patience. Indeed, we did talk a bit this morning. I got up actually before 3 a.m. because it starts 7 p.m. Melbourne time, the class, and it ran for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I spent a good amount of time, and it's not just people from Australia anymore. He's starting to gather people from around the world, and what he shares blows people away. People that are hearing him for the first time are absolutely astounded with the depth of his knowledge and the fluency with which he delivers the message. And I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'm telling you, the first time I heard him, and several times since, and I've heard him a number of times now when I've been in some of these classes, he brought tears to my eyes. I mean, when he talks about prophecy and some of the things that he knows as an indigenous Australian. I don't even think I should call him an Aborigine because that's actually a European, it may even be somewhat derogatory. And that's what I've been referring to him as. That's what the Europeans call the indigenous Australians. But they do their walkabouts, and they have a depth of spirituality that most Westerners can only think about. I mean, they, in their dream time, I mean, they travel. I mean, they travel. And this is something that mystics do, and that's a mystical culture, as many indigenous cultures are. And we Westerners have a heck of a lot of catching up to do, and a heck of a lot of learning in regard to spirituality, in regard to being connected to the universe, to the cosmos, and being able to hear life and get the message, not even in words, but in knowing life. This is what I pick up as I listen to this man speak. I mean, and he has combined, and I'll be hopefully bringing that forth in our conversation, he has combined a lot of technologies, if you will, for gaining freedom. So it's right up my alley, right up the alley of most of you that listen to me. And he covers things that I've never heard anyone else cover, because he's not just presenting a particular point of view, he's presenting an amalgamation of ideas that are gathered from more than one source. And again, when I learned that 5 years ago or so he was considered illiterate, I mean, it blew my mind, because he certainly doesn't sound like someone that we would consider an illiterate stupid, but actually not. Actually not. because there's different types of literacy. He has a literacy in understanding, a literacy in nature, as again, many indigenous peoples developed that, which is why the Europeans tried so hard to stamp out native spirituality, because it was actually more advanced than Christianity, actually more advanced than Muslim or Judaism, or it's even more advanced than Hinduism and Buddhism, although they have more ancient roots than the more Western religions. In any case, I'm looking forward to the conversation, and I don't know exactly what occurred that made it so that he could not keep our appointment, but I'm sure there's a good reason, and I'm sure that it will happen when it's supposed to, and I have to learn to allow that. I tend to be very rigid in time. I for many months, as you know, I mean, I did my videos very early in the morning and put them up immediately. Now I've been doing them, of course, the day before and scheduling them for midnight in most cases in recent weeks. But I'm very rigid insofar as being on time and things like that, and that's just my nature. But indigenous people live by a different clock, and I've heard that, and I believe it's true. I asked one of my friends in Australia, who is our connection to Jagamara, and she said, yeah, it's not unusual for him to get caught up doing something else and just lose track of time, even if he didn't get to bed when he thought he was going to get to bed and ended up. So I don't know. It is what it is. But folks, you have a treat coming, and I want you to look forward to that, because I'm looking forward to it. And as I said, it's going to blow a lot of people's minds, because this guy has been given a wisdom and an ability to share ideas that is outstanding. Literally, it's outstanding. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot today. I will, I guess, make a little bit of comment about yesterday's video, which is today's video, the one that I did yesterday, in which I was very jovial. A lot of people made comments on that, but it still baffles me, the people that hang on to their rigid eating idea of you can't be spiritual if you eat meat. I mean, it blows me away that people can be that narrow-minded over eating food. And I'm sorry, but I just cannot. I mean, I don't mind anybody eating whatever they choose to eat. I mean, it's your choice. But when you start attacking other people and putting them down because they choose to eat an omnivorous diet, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with that. And it annoys me that people that eat a diet composed of meat and vegetable, people that eat that kind of diet don't go around trying to convince other people that that's the diet they should eat. I mean, they just allow people to eat whatever they want. And yet it's the people that are the vegans and the vegetarians that think that everybody should be like them. No, everybody shouldn't be like you, if that's what you are. And if you really want to stop killing something to eat, become a breatharian. Okay? And see how long you last not eating any plants, because they give their life too. And somebody said, well, animals don't give their life voluntarily. Well, in the modern meat factories, probably not. But yet, who knows? Who knows the consciousness? We don't have the consciousness of other life forms. We have the consciousness only of our own life form. So anyway, I'm not gonna belabor that. It is annoying to me, but I'm sure I'm annoying to you that think that you're the only ones that are right. and that you're far more spiritual and far more advanced. And it's funny because I probably had 5 people or so far since my video unfriend me, and I'll bet you that every single one of them that unfriended me over the past several hours or since midnight last night, every one of them is a vegan or a vegetarian, and they were offended by my comments yesterday, and I'll probably lose some more today because you just don't have an open mind. And open-mindedness to me is what spirituality is all about. If you don't have an open mind, if you have a closed mind, you're, like I've been a lot of my life, too rigid, and you need to loosen up. Anyway, that's my opinion. And you can take it or leave it, and those of you that don't agree will leave it, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Just don't try to lay trips on me or others. Let people be where they are. Okay, it's good advice. Again, you can take it or leave it. Thank you for listening, though. Namaste.